Stonehenge, the Taj Mahal, the Great Pyramid of Giza, all incredible historical monuments and impressive engineering feats. But have you ever wondered how much it would cost to build these awe-inspiring landmarks nowadays? Spoiler warning, the Great Pyramid isn't even the most expensive. Let's begin. Counting down from number 13, Big Ben. Completed in 1859, the name refers to both the tower and the massive bell inside. The very first bell broke and was replaced by a second one, which also broke and had to be repaired. Wow, does that come with a warranty? Probably should use more durable materials. On that note, let's say you want to make yourself a Big Ben bell. You'd need to get a hold of at least $63,000 for copper, $67,000 for tin, $90,000 for the workers, and $3,000 for cranes and the whole installation process. In total, it's $223,000. A modest price compared to the rest of the items on this list. My budget's rather limited. Can we do a pretty Big Ben for a lot less? Number 12. The Statue of Liberty. The iconic Liberty Enlightening the World, which is the statue's original name, was constructed in France and then delivered to the U.S. as a gift in 1886. It took almost a decade to create this iconic landmark, whose height from the ground to the tip of the torch is 305 feet. That's about 30 stories. To build the same statue nowadays, you'd need $780,000 for the materials – copper, steel, and concrete – and $500,000 for the construction work. Meaning the total cost of your Statue of Liberty project would be almost $1.3 million. 11. Stonehenge. This is one of the world's oldest remaining monuments, and it's easily one of the most recognizable. If you squint, it kind of looks like someone left a gigantic set of dentures. The construction is made up of gigantic 25-ton megaliths, large upright stones put in place by people thousands of years ago. The whole thing took 1,500 years to build, but let's hope your project goes a little faster. The landmark consists of two types of stones, so that'll be $1 million for the sarsen stones, the smaller ones, $100,000 for blue stones, those are the big ones, another $100,000 for trenching, and $2.3 million for labor and cranes. The final bill, about $3.5 million. I don't have that much. How about fiberglass henge? Number 10. The Leaning Tower of Pisa. The tower's construction started in the 12th century and took 200 years to complete. Unfortunately, the soil under the foundation was too soft to hold the 15,000 tons of the tower's weight. That's why it became known as leaning. It's also rumored the architect had one leg shorter than the other and so didn't notice any difference. If you decide to build your own Tower of Pisa, you'd need to spend almost $3 million on the white marble it's made from. The cranes and labor would add $1.2 million to that. If you're willing to shovel over $4.2 million in total, remember to build it in a suitable place. Hey, I'd rather buy a leaning tower of pizza myself. Imagine all the pepperoni. 9. The Eiffel Tower. Even though Parisians weren't happy about the Iron Giant once it completed its 2-year construction in 1889, the thing turned out to be a hit. The Eiffel Tower is usually 985 feet tall, but I say usually since its height changes. When it's cold, it can shrink by 6 inches. In any case, to build an Eiffel Tower in your backyard, you'd need the permission of your neighbors – good luck with that – plus $1.2 million worth of materials like iron, rivets, paint, and light bulbs. Additionally, the construction team wouldn't agree to work for less than $30 million. In the end, you'd spend a little over $31 million. Well, with my budget, I'd settle for an awful tower. Pretty ugly, huh? Any of these projects piquing your interest? Let me know down in the comments which one you'd like to build. But I've got more offers, so let's keep going. Number 8. The Hanging Gardens of Babylon. No one knows whether the ancient hanging gardens are a real thing or just a legend. But if they did exist, they must have been breathtaking. The tiered gardens had an impressive collection of different vines, shrubs, and trees, and resembled huge green mountains made of mud bricks. If you wanted to create the same oasis for yourself, you'd have to spend $21.5 million on the materials and landscape designers. The workers will take their $10 million, and you can say goodbye to a total of $31.5 million. Hopefully that garden will still manage to keep you calm. 7. The Parthenon. It took 9 years to finish building this Greek temple with a base of a little over half the size of a football field. These days, reconstructing the famous landmark would demand over $35 million. That's a little over $30 million for the 100,000 tons of marble you'll need, more than 100,000 for the 69 columns, and 90,000 for those 50 marble figures decorating the place. And don't forget about the cranes and workers. They'll need about $4.5 million for their hard work. Well, I could just afford a part of the Parthenon, that little bitty part over there. Number 6. Angkor Wat. Deep in the Cambodian jungle, you'll find an astounding temple complex that's said to be the largest on Earth. The landmark stretches for more than 400 acres, 4 times the size of the Mall of America. To build it, people brought 5 million tons of sandstone from the mountains 31 miles away. Woo, that's a haul. To make a modern replica of this magnificent place, you'd have to spend almost $2 million on the land plot alone. Add an additional $20 million for the basic structure and labor. Exquisite sculptures like the ones decorating the original monument would cost you another $20 million. So, $42 million later, you have yourself a new Angkor Wat. What? What? Oh, sorry, hard of hearing. Number 5. Machu Picchu. At more than 7,000 feet above sea level in the Peruvian Andes, Machu Picchu is quite a sight. It was built around 1450 BCE, and in 2007, it was named one of the new 7 Wonders of the World. The magnificent landmark consists of 150 buildings, and it's believed that during the construction, hundreds of builders pushed 50-pound rocks up steep mountain slopes. Luckily, you wouldn't have to use such exhausting methods today. You would spend $57 million on the materials, mainly granite, and $13 million on the labor and cranes, a total of $70 million. And voila! You have a cool mountainous city. But sadly, I'll never be able to match-o that budget. Number 4. The Taj Mahal. To see the beauty of the majestic Taj Mahal mausoleum, you have to travel to Agra in India. This marble masterpiece took more than 20 years to build. Its full height is 561 feet, almost 2 Lady Liberties stacked on top of each other, and the materials were brought from all over Asia. Now, to build one today, get ready to pay $3 million for the bricks, $23.5 million for the marble, $15 million for the garden, and $2.5 million for the dome. And that's not all. Add $60 million for the workers and $10 million for semi-precious stones. Altogether, expect to shell out about $115 million. Or, for many dollars less, you could build the Motel 6 Mahal. Number 3. The Colosseum. Built from stone and concrete, Rome's Colosseum is the world's largest amphitheater. The magnificent structure could seat 50,000 spectators and had 80 entrances to avoid congestion. Emperors tried to get citizen support by not taking any entry fee and serving free food. And hey, you got to see some, wildlife, like lions in the arena. You, on the other hand, might need to charge people so that you can make back the money you spent, because you'll need $200 million just for the limestone alone. The elliptical structure would be $215 million, and with $22 million spent on cranes and workers, the total cost of the modern Colosseum would reach $437 million. And I'm not, lying. Number 2. The Great Pyramid of Giza. Another member of the 7 Wonders of the World, the pyramid was built around 4,000 years ago. The whole thing was made with more than 2 million limestone blocks, each weighing about 2.5 tons, and it took tens of thousands of workers up to 30 years to complete the construction. If you decided to build such a colossal monument nowadays, the total price tag would be a jaw-dropping $1.2 billion. Yeah, with a B. This number would include the cost of the limestone blocks, around $1.1 billion, cranes, about $60 million, and the money paid to the workers, more than $40 million. But it's still not the most expensive project on this list. Geez, given the centuries it would take me to pay that off, I'd be a really old man. Heh, we'd need to call it the Great Pyramid of Giza. So, any guesses on who our winner will be? Go on, I'll wait. Okay, fine. Number 1. The Great Wall of China. The construction of the original wall took over 2,000 years to complete. Its total length is 13,000 miles, which is half as long as the Earth's circumference. And the Great Wall is not just one wall, it's actually a collection of many. But returning to our financial question, it would cost you around $21 billion to get all the necessary materials. You'll need the same amount to talk to the builders into getting down to work. Meaning, if you want to have a Great Wall of your own, you'll need to come up with $42 billion. Me? Well, let's see, checking the wallet, I could afford the Great Picket Fence of China for maybe about 2 city blocks. Ah, impressive, huh?